Brazil won 3-0. Clean sheet, knockout stage secured, and none of that mattered because the next morning, Brazil's Football Federation sat down, picked up a pen, and wrote a letter that has just turned this entire World Cup upside down. A letter so specific, so documented, so damaging that it didn't just challenge one referee's decision, it challenged FIFA's entire system of justice. And in the middle of that letter, they wrote one name: Lionel Messi. Let's go back to Wednesday night, Hard Rock Stadium, Miami, Brazil against Scotland, 22 minutes in. Vinicius Jr., the man who has been Brazil's most dangerous player at this entire tournament, wins the ball on the edge of the Scottish half. Scotland defender Jack Hendry hesitates. Vinicius pounces, takes possession, bursts forward, finishes calmly past Angus Gunn. The crowd erupts. Brazil 2-0. The dancing celebration. The teammates running over. And then the monitor lights up. Mexican referee Cesar Ramos walks to the pitch side screen, reviews the footage, looks at the moment Vinicius wins the ball, and then raises his hand. Foul. Goal disallowed. Free kick to Scotland. Vinicius stood on the pitch, looking like a man who had just been told the ski was green. His own teammates looked confused. And here's the detail that Brazil's federation used in their complaint. The Scottish players themselves didn't expect a review. Their reactions suggested they believed the ball had been fairly won. Not just Brazil protesting, both teams surprised. BBC Rules analyst Darren Can said live on broadcast that he didn't believe it was a foul at all. He said Vinicius was simply holding his ground and the defender kicked into him. HuffPost. Former Brazil midfielder Lucas Leiva agreed the goal should have stood, but it didn't. And Brazil went away and did something no team at this World Cup has done before. They wrote FIFA a formal letter, obtained by Brazilian newspaper Estadão and confirmed by multiple outlets, including the Mirror and Daily Star just hours ago. The Brazilian Football Confederation called for uniform application of VAR intervention standards throughout the competition, and then they dropped the bomb. Here's the part that should stop you. Because this is where a simple VAR complaint becomes something much, much bigger. Brazil referenced Argentina's opening goal against Austria in their complaint, arguing that Alexis McAllister's challenge was comparable to Vinicius's challenge on Henry, but McAllister's challenge was not reviewed, and Messi went on to score from that sequence. Wikipedia. Think about what Brazil is actually saying here. They are not just saying our goal was wrong. They are saying your referees are applying different rules to different players. Messi's team got away with the same thing you punished us for. Explain that. The CBF statement read, the goal disallowed for Brazil against Scotland does not appear to be aligned with the philosophy adopted in the competition. It is worth noting that the decision seemed unexpected not only for the Brazilian team, but also for the Scottish players, whose immediate reactions suggested they did not expect a review or the subsequent annulment of the goal. Substack, and then they went further. Brazil also asked FIFA to explain why they did not receive a penalty for what they described as an obvious foul on Gabriel Jesus. Substack, one letter, 3 separate complaints: VAR inconsistency, Messi comparison, penalty denial, all filed officially with the governing body of world football, all demanding answers. If you want to follow every controversy at this World Cup as it actually unfolds, not days later, right now, subscribe. Because what FIFA says next will decide whether this story gets bigger or gets buried. Now, here is the context that makes this even more uncomfortable. Because this is not the first time a team has complained about Messi receiving different treatment at this tournament. Algeria filed a formal complaint with FIFA days ago, claiming preferential treatment after Messi's studs-up challenge on an Algerian player went completely unpunished during their group match 4-4-2. That complaint, like so many complaints before it, received no public response from FIFA. So now we have 2 separate countries, 2 separate complaints, both pointing at the same pattern, both saying the same thing in different words, that the world's most famous footballer appears to be operating under a different set of rules than everyone else. Is that true? Is Messi actually getting special treatment? Honestly, the evidence is complicated. Academic research suggests referee bias exists in football, but it operates across multiple dimensions. 4 4 2. Elite players draw more scrutiny in some situations and less in others. The same tackle gets a different call depending on the score, the minute, the stadium, the referee's nationality, whether it's VAR or live decision. None of that is unique to Messi. And honestly, that argument is not wrong. But here is what is also true. Brazil sent a letter with a specific documented comparison, not an emotional reaction, not a post match rant to reporters. A formal, written, officially submitted document that names Messi's goal as evidence of inconsistency. That is a different level of seriousness, and the people defending FIFA's consistency need to answer that specific comparison, not dismiss it as sour grapes from a team that won 3-0 anyway. And honestly, that argument is not wrong either. Here is the bigger picture. VAR was supposed to fix football's officiating problem. It was supposed to eliminate the human error, the guesswork, the match defining mistakes that had haunted the sport for generations. And at this World Cup, across Qatar decisions, Brazil decisions, Algeria decisions, Iran decisions, what it has actually produced is a new kind of controversy. Not fewer disputed moments, but more documented ones. Because now every decision leaves a video record. Every inconsistency can be frozen, replayed, and placed side by side with a different decision from a different match. Brazil did exactly that. They found the footage, they found the comparison, they wrote the letter, and FIFA has to respond. Brazil faced Japan in the round of 32. Vinicius will play. He will almost certainly get into dangerous positions again, and every single time he wins the ball from a defender, every single person watching is going to be asking the same question. Is this going to be allowed or isn't it? That is what one disallowed goal and one formal letter have done to this tournament. So here is the question. If Brazil's complaint is right, if the same challenge was treated differently because of who scored from the sequence, what does that mean for a World Cup that has branded itself the most transparent in history? And if FIFA ignores this letter the way they ignored Algeria's, what does that tell us about who this tournament is really being refereed for? You tell me. Drop your verdict in the comments. I'll see you in the next one.